All right. So, hello, Jesse. Wonderful to see you today. Happy Thursday.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Today,
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. Excited to connect with you today as I've heard a lot of things about reverse mortgages, and I personally have been a little like, I don't know about that. So, I'm really excited to talk to you today.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what you can share with us, with the live audience today about all those myths that are out there. I know that the way I felt about reverse mortgages, I'm sure a lot of people out there feel the same. So would love to kind of hear a little bit about you, and then we'll jump right into those six myths and how you can help demystify all these things that we've heard about.
Great. Yeah. I'm a mortgage broker, licensed in California, so I do loans all over California. I'm based here in Long Beach, California, so I specifically work the Southern California market. So I do regular loans, refinances, and purchases, and all that stuff. But one of my main emphasis is reverse mortgages because I think it's such a great product and it has such a bad rap. It really does. One of my biggest challenges is to educate people about the benefits of a reverse mortgage, and because it used to be kind of a bad product back in the day. It was kind of like the Wild West, and that's where all the bad stories come from. But in 2015, there were a lot of new laws that came into effect that regulated it and put a lot of safety measures in it. So now it's a pretty good product. I mean, it's not for everybody, right? It's a
Mhm.
tool for the
Right.
right person at the right time. If you're over 60 or 62 years old, it can be very, very beneficial to you.
Okay, great. So we'll jump in. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and then you can kind of give me a little bit more detail on those.
Uh-oh, okay, I'm ready.
So number one, can the lender actually take ownership of my house? That's a big concern, right?
Yeah, it is, and this is the one I get a lot.
Okay.
But you know what? A reverse mortgage is just a regular loan. And in fact, the most popular reverse mortgage is called a HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, and it's actually backed by the federal government. It's just a regular FHA loan. So it's just a regular loan, just like if you got to purchase or refinance. No one's going to take your house. No, the lender doesn't want your house. They're not going to take ownership of it. In fact, you're going to keep ownership of the house for
Okay.
as long as you live in it. And
Okay.
so that's the number. That's probably the biggest misconception of reverse mortgages is the lender will not take your house. You keep ownership of it for the rest of your life.
So I can't be thrown out.
You can't be thrown out. I mean, the only caveat is, I mean, you still have to pay your taxes, right? Your property taxes, right? You
Mhm.
still have to do pay your homeowner's insurance, just like a regular mortgage.
Right.
But the lender will never kick you out. The lender will
Okay.
never take your house. But if you don't pay your taxes, then the federal government might. They might take it.
So
That's
whether you
just
have a
normal.
reverse mortgage or not, if you don't pay your taxes,
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
that's the risk that you run.
And I think in the past, that wasn't communicated well enough to a lot of seniors, and so they thought they didn't have to pay their taxes, and that's where a lot of those stories came from, where little old ladies were getting kicked out of their house. Um, Now it's we communicate it very well. It's all in the paperwork, and in fact, for taxes, we can do what's called a lisa, which the lender can actually pay your taxes and insurance if you have enough equity in your home. So you don't even have to if you don't want to.
Very good, very
Yeah.
good. So, is there a way that is it possible that I actually owe more than what the house is worth? So, if I have, say, my house here in Southern California is what average is anywhere from 5 to 700,000.
Uh, no, you can never owe more with if you get a reverse mortgage.
Mhm.
You can never owe more than your house is worth. So
Okay,
at when it's time to pay off the reverse mortgage, if say the reverse mortgage is $600,000, but your home is only worth $400,000, the lender can only take $400,000.
okay,
So you can never owe more than the home is worth, and that's a great benefit. But in Southern California, and in most places, your real estate is still going up. So even as the loan balance goes up, which it does in a reverse mortgage because you don't make payments and you have interest on it, it's a normal thing. But your home is still appreciating. So in these days we see very few instances where the loan balance goes above what the home is worth.
Okay. And I know as a homeowner, people are probably thinking, well, if I have no mortgage payment, my balance continues to go up
Right.
and my kids are going to inherit my property. What am I really leaving them?
Right.
So
Yeah, and
that was
that's a concern. But like I said, as home prices go up, you're rarely going to owe more than what the home is worth. But even if that's the case, I mean, um, at the end of the day, if you when you pass away or when you leave the house, I mean, you can only the reverse mortgage stays in place as long as you live. So you can the reverse mortgage is fantastic. It gets rid of your mortgage payment for the life for as long as you live, or when you leave the house. So when those two things. So if that happens, there's usually a lot of equity left, and so your heirs, your son or daughter, whoever takes the house, whoever gets ownership of the house when you pass or when you pass away, they can sell the house or they can just refinance and keep it. So there are options for them. So you're still leaving something. But at the end of the day, um, the reverse mortgage for seniors mostly is to help you in your retirement years, right? Is to help you live a better life. It's so that you're not always worrying about money.
hmm
Um, get rid of your mortgage payment. You can even get a monthly payment from a reverse mortgage if you want, if you have enough equity. So at the end of the day, I think your heirs, your sons and daughters would rather you live a better life in retirement than worry about getting a home at the end
Yeah.
of the day. And I see
Yeah.
that a lot. Once
Yeah, and
what
I think the industries that we're in, retirement is really, really important. And it's very unfortunate to see that a lot of people are not planning for
right,
retirement. So,
yeah,
that's a big thing. And being able to offer this option to people who maybe didn't plan properly is a good option. And like I tell all my clients, the shoe doesn't fit everyone, the same shoe. You got to look at the different options that are out there and
exactly,
really, if you're younger, if you're in your 20s, 30s, even 40s, you need to start planning for retirement.
right,
A reverse mortgage may or may not be the best option for you. It's just another tool that
exactly,
lenders have out there to help people. But I think it's really important to emphasize that retirement planning needs to start today,
yeah,
no matter what age you are. Right? Would you
right.
agree with that, Jesse?
I agree 100%. Start as early as you can to start planning for retirement. But a lot of people haven't. And a lot of people have their wealth in their home. I mean, a lot of people, when they retire, they have most of their wealth in their house in
hmm
equity. And
hmm
so, I mean, you have a choice. You can just leave it there and struggle financially, or
hmm
you can tap into that wealth, into that equity, and have a better retirement. I mean, why not? These are your golden years. That's what you've worked for your whole life. You want to be able
Yeah.
to go visit the grandkids. You want to go have lunch with your friends, go play golf, and travel, right?
Yeah, a lot
And
of people
so,
are house rich and cash poor, right? So
exactly, right,
they're worth a lot of money on paper, but they really don't have the money, the means, the cash flow to live a good life. And I always tell people, you want your golden years to be fun. You don't want
right,
to be that person that has to work at Walmart as a
right,
greeter because they need the benefits and things like that. There's just so many cases that you see of people just not planning. And so that's why working with you has been a great opportunity for me to share different options with my clients because it just depends on their situation. I've met clients that are doing really well, they've saved in their 401k, and then I have others that have either been hit really hard by life circumstances, by becoming ill, chronically ill, incapacitated, or their family member has become ill and they've had to use their life savings to help care with their family, for their
right,
family members. And those are
right.
things that can all be planned for.
Yep.
We have car insurance, we
Hmm.
have cell phone insurance, homeowners insurance, but the one thing that a lot of people neglect to protect is their family, their life. And so that's something that I also like to make sure that people think about every day is protecting your family and protecting your home. One thing I'd like to ask, and I hope you don't mind, Jesse, is I know that you have had a very personal experience with probate,
Right.
and so if you don't mind sharing your story, I know that that's a big big piece of the financial puzzle is ensuring if you're a new homeowner or you recently refinanced it and you have young children, how important it is to have those assets protected in a living trust.
Right.
Do you mind sharing your experience with everyone out there? Just because I know that I talk about this all the time, and having someone kind of share their real life experience, I think, is very valuable.
Right. Yeah, I'd be happy to, but I want to reiterate what you said about, the reverse mortgage is just a tool. It's just another tool that we have in your retirement, toolkit. But talking to someone like yourself or like me before you retire so that you can get ready for it. I mean, that's so important. That's so important. And the story you're talking about is, my sister passed away 18 months ago. It was somewhat sudden. She has a will, and she actually has a living trust. So, but the problem is she was kind of sick, and so she never got to the escrow company, to the title company, to sign the house into the living trust. So the property, the house that she owned was in the will, but not quite in the living trust, and then she passed away very suddenly. And so, because the property wasn't in the living trust, we had to go through probate. I mean, she had a will and everything, which a lot of people think, oh, I've got a will, I'm safe, we're good,
Yeah.
but you're not.
Yeah.
A will just kind of directs where it's going to go, but you still have to go through probate to have a judge say, okay, you're good. And that was 18 months ago, and you know what? We still don't have title to the house. A lot of it was COVID. The court shut down, but it's still a lengthy process. Usually it takes 6 months to 9 months. And in the state of California, you're going to pay a lot of probate taxes. I mean, we're getting ready to write a big check once we've got a court date for May. It's been pushed back and pushed back, but we've got another court date for May. We'll get the title soon, but we're going to have to write a hefty check to the state of California, and we've had attorney fees this whole time as well. So do yourself a favor. If you own property, if you own anything, any kind of assets, talk to someone like Elizabeth. Talk to them about a living trust. Anyone who owns property should have their property and assets in a living trust, and then it's pretty seamless.
Yeah.
If you pass away suddenly, or if you pass away, those assets, the property and all your assets, go seamlessly to the beneficiaries, to your heirs.
Yeah.
If it's just in a will, you're going to be like me.
Yeah.
You're going to be waiting and paying a lot of money.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you sharing that. I know it's a very personal story, but I think people need to hear it.
Yep.
We just never know when our time's going to come. And so having your house in order is really, really important. And
I agree.
for those of you who have been thinking about a living trust, who have young children, it's critical to have something in place. Something that people don't realize is if you have children underage and you pass away, your children will go with social services and they'll be placed in the foster home. And
Wow.
I'm sure that's not what, anyone wants for their children. We all think if I pass away, I know my, little Johnny's going to go with my sister or, her older brother but you know what?
I didn't know that. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is very scary. And I talk about it all the time because people don't know. And so my goal is to help educate and share as much information with everyone out there so that people are aware. If you're listening to this and you have young children and you're a homeowner and you don't do anything about it, that's on you. But you know what? My goal is to share and share and share. And I never get tired of sharing this information because, if I could change one life, if I could change 10 lives, I'll be really happy. So speaking of living trust, on June 9th, Wednesday, my business partner and attorney, Samuel Birdsong, and I are going to be doing a webinar or a Zoom meeting just like this. And we're going to be talking in detail about estate planning and how it works, some of the pitfalls of, when people try to do it themselves. They do a legal Zoom or something like that. And did you know, Jesse, that Kobe Bryant youngest child was not included in his living trust.
Really?
Yeah. And
Why is
and you
that?
wonder, celebrities, they have a lot of money. You think they're paying attorneys to do, an ironclad living trust that can
Hmm.
protect any situation. Well, there was a specific clause that was not included that spoke to any
Wow.
children that may were born after the living trust was created.
Yeah.
So his wife actually had to go to court to contest that to make sure that the youngest child was included. I mean,
Wow.
yeah. So do you really want to do it yourself?
Yeah.
I question people why they think about spending a couple $1,000s to protect something that's worth potentially millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And in your state here in Southern California, just your house alone is probably anywhere from like $700,000 to $1 million, right?
Yeah,
So
you want to use professionals. You want to use it. You want to have your team of people
yeah,
who know what they're doing for sure. And just a
it's
side story, I have an investor friend who used a joint venture contract he got off the internet to do an investment with someone who gave him money, and they kind of did it together. I mean, that's great if things go right, but this one didn't go well. So the investor lost money, and the investor sued, and his attorney's like, "Where did you get this agreement from? This makes no sense at all. I mean, you're gonna pay a lot of money to this guy, not only to me for attorney fees, but and penalties with the
yeah,
Securities and Exchange Commission. So make sure you use the right professionals. It
absolutely
costs a little bit more in the beginning, but it saves you a lot of money in the
on the
long run
back
for
end.
sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Well, thank you, Jesse, so much. Is there anything else? So I have one more question. If I am interested in doing this and my house is not paid off, so if I have a current mortgage, is that still an option that I have in doing a reverse mortgage?
Oh, of course. I mean, you do need a little bit of equity. Kind of, if you have more 50% or more equity in your home, we can do it. The
Okay.
reverse mortgage will just pay off the mortgage you have now and put your equity into the reverse mortgage. If you have enough equity, you can pay off other bills as well, and you can get a monthly payment. You can take money out with a reverse mortgage and buy something like an annuity, or insurance, or an investment property, or just travel, or if you have medical bills, and you can get a line of credit. I mean, there's so many options with the reverse mortgage. It's a fantastic product. Like we said, it's just a tool, but it's something. It's another tool we have for you to so that you have a great retirement, and so that you're not worrying about your money during retirement.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, Jesse, so much for all the information. It was a pleasure connecting with you and trying to demystify all those things that we hear about out there. If anybody has any questions, if they have an interest in speaking to you a little further about maybe doing something, like we've talked about today, how can they get a hold of you?
My number is 576, excuse me, 562-576-6885. You can email me at jesse@jesserivera.com. My website's jesserivera.com. Just Google Jesse Rivera
And
Mortgage
your
Broker
name
and
is
I'll come
spelled a
up.
little different, right? Not the traditional.
What's
So
that?
I'll go ahead and place all the information
Okay.
in our post. But if anybody is interested in speaking to Jesse, please feel free to reach out to him. If you have any questions in regards to estate planning, retirement planning, illness and disability protection, that is really, really important. Please feel free to reach out to either one of us. I can be reached at 714-600-2509, or you can always go on my website at protectmyfamilynow.com. And we look forward to the opportunity to serve any of you. Feel free to share this information with any friends, family, anyone you care about. And once again, remember, you can reach out with questions. It's not like we're here to sell you anything. We're happy to
Right.
help answer questions. If you're in a bind, in a situation, we're always here to help. Anything we can do to help someone, we'll be happy to do so. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Jesse, for all the information. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.